Here we go.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, darling. How are you?
Yeah, good. So I'm really super excited to be chatting to you because Sophia and so my name's Laura, sorry, and this is Sophia.
Laura.
We are both in our third trimester of pregnancy in this crazy lockdown time, and we've been checking with each other, watching each other's Instagram and seeing, kind of comparing bumps, haven't we? How big we're getting. And I just thought, do you know what, I've also seen some other posts from other people, and there's a lot of worry, anxiety out there. And I know that Sophia does a lot of personal development, as do I. And I know for a fact that it's why we're probably still smiling at the moment. That gets us through.
100%.
And I just thought, why not have a chat with each other and share, it doesn't mean that we don't get worried or anything like that at all, but just share some of the stuff that's been going on for us, what we're using to help, just in the hope that there's other people out there. And maybe you're not quite so far along in your pregnancy, maybe, very early stages, maybe you're at that point where you haven't been able to tell anyone yet, but we're just going to chat through how things have been for us, and yeah, hopefully put a smile on some of your faces of the funny stuff about pregnancy, because let's face it, if you don't laugh, you're going to cry.
Absolutely.
So Sophia, how many weeks pregnant are you now?
I'm 33 plus 4 days or something like that. Yeah, 33 weeks pregnant.
I'm coming up to, well, I've been given 2 dates. I've got like one date and I've got another date. So mid-range of that, I'm 34 weeks. So I'm taking sort of the midline. So yeah, we're very, very similar, aren't we? Very close.
We are, yeah.
Like, who's going to pop out first?
I know.
So obviously, and also the other thing we both have in common is we've both got little boys, haven't we? So we're going to be turning into mums with 2 children. How old is your little boy?
So he's 3. He turned 3 at Christmas.
Oh,
So we're at that lovely
so
age. No, he's brilliant. He's just wonderful. He really, really.
I always remember him at a baby shower and him trying to kiss my nose while cuddling him. I think he was actually trying to eat my nose, but I'm just going to say trying to kiss it. He was so affectionate. He was lovely.
He still is. He's the most loving child, and I always say to him, Andreas, never stop hugging and kissing mummy, please.
I know. I never want them to stop.
I know.
So yeah, Jensen actually had a 4th birthday 2 days ago as well. Yeah, so he's had a lockdown birthday.
How was it?
Yeah, he was good. He was good. We tried to just keep him active, entertained all day. He had lots of presents. We bought presents. I bought presents online, and then families kind of like paid for presents and things.
Oh, lovely.
I tell you what, the downside to it for me was that it was like Christmas doing all of the wrapping myself. So the night before I was literally like wrapping everything up that people had bought. They were like, oh, buy this, buy this, buy this.
Oh,
so yeah, that was nuts. But he did have a great time. He's missing his friends though. So if any of you have got children out there, it's trying to keep them distracted and keep them entertained is a hard job. Because he knows about nursery, he knows about gymnastics and dance classes and all these places that he goes to in his friends' houses. He's knowing about it, and I think that is the tricky thing. So he understands. I don't know about Andreas. You actually, do you want to tell your story about what you've called it? Because that was hilarious. How you helped Andreas understand what's going on.
We've been away for 2.5, nearly 3 months in America, and our plans got cut short because we had to come back because of the lockdown. Well, it was because of the pandemic, and it was just sort of happening. And when we got back, of course, he was expecting to see all the family, and it hadn't all kicked in just yet. So my parents picked us up and we stayed with them for a night, and then they dropped us back at home, and that's when it all started happening. We were having to stay in for 12 weeks, and so every day he was saying, Mummy, can we go out? Can we go and see Uncle this one, Uncle that one? And I was like, no, sweetheart, we can't. Can we go to the park? No, darling. Why not, Mummy? Well, there's just a little bit of crazy going on at the moment out there. He was like, oh, okay. Just took it as read. And I was like, and I didn't think anything of it until like 2 days later, when I said, let's go to the park, but we just won't go to the play area. He goes, oh, Mummy, is the crazy finished now? Can we go to the park? I was like, oh no. That's crazy. And then when I was showing him some videos of his cousins the other day who live up north, he went, Mummy, when the crazy's finished, can we go to their house? I said, sweetheart,
It sounds like a horror movie. The crazy. I'm sure there is actually a horror movie called that or something.
Probably. So
Full
yeah,
of zombies
he
or
calls it
something
the
like that.
crazy, and I was like, oh mate, I've really not given it a good name.
But it doesn't matter. It's just something they understand.
It does, and he knows he can't go to people's houses, and actually when we first got home, he wouldn't FaceTime anybody. He would run away from them. And I said,
Oh,
sweetheart, come and say hello. He said, no, mummy, I don't want to say hello because I want to go to the house. And I was like, oh. So then
yeah.
I had to go into a little bit more detail and say, people are not very well, and they're cleaning the park. And so I was trying to make it as understanding as possible, but not doom and gloom for him. So he gets it now, and even when he says, can we go to the park but not the play area because they're cleaning it, he understands we can't go to things like that. And the more we pop out, we've got a little pond across the road from us, and we go out there and show him that the playgroup's closed and the church is closed. And he said, yeah, we can't go anywhere just yet, mummy, can we, because it's all closed. I said, no, sweetheart. And for a 3-year-old to understand that, I just think, hats off to him.
They are very, we think of children as really vulnerable and what have you, but actually they're so resilient. And Jensen's very similar. I mean, he actually knows about coronavirus. He actually can say the word, well, he says it in his own little way, but it's quite clear, coronavirus. He suddenly goes all very grown up. And like, say if the TV's on, because they have the adverts, don't they? He repeats all sorts of funny things from adverts. He knows all about the Sky deals going on and all stuff like that. He just repeats stuff to us. But like the coronavirus, he's like, he hears the word and he goes, that person's mentioned coronavirus. It's a national emergency because they've had like the government advert on. So he does understand. But you mentioned about going to the park. So we've got a park near us that's got ducks and things like that. We decided on his birthday that we go for the ducks because we thought, well, do you know what? That's something we can do. We booked a Farmer Palmer party. We're going to see the animals. That had to be cancelled, obviously. So we thought, well, we can go and see ducks. I will put out a warning now to anyone who wants to go and feed the ducks at this time where the ducks are not getting fed as much. Oh my word. I got, actually, for the first time ever, I got pecked on the bottom by a swan.
No.
And a duck actually jumped up at Jensen and actually bit his fingers. Like, they are so hungry because they've not had people going and feeding them. And then the geese are nesting. The geese aren't even bothered about the bread or anything like that at all. They're just literally like trying to chase you off because they're nesting. So if you do have ponds and ducks and things near you, they're going to be on you. Yeah, watch out. They are on it. They are so on it. They're like, there's people. They have food.
That's hilarious.
Oh, I've never been, I've lived around this park all my life. I've never, ever had a swan peck me, especially on the bottom. That was a new experience.
Fantastic.
So yeah, they're very resilient. And Jensen, we have to keep reminding him, he'll always ask about friends and stuff. But so if you do have children, it's just speaking in their language, whatever, if you call it the crazy or you use the right word or, whatever you say to them, just keep going with that story. I think they're just, they are brilliant. So what has life in lockdown been like for you? Since we've been told don't go out unless it's your one walk a day, especially being a mum, and also we're expecting as well, emotionally as well as physically what's going on. What's happened for you?
Well, it hasn't, to be honest, because I work from home anyway, it hasn't majorly changed from my day-to-day life. So I do work a lot from home. The only difference is that I'm not socialising with my other mummies, with Andreas, and having any time out. There have been days, weeks where I've had a couple of days where I have stayed in, but then I've always gone the next day, okay, I need to get out of the house and I'm going stir crazy. So as far as that's concerned, that hasn't really majorly changed. But I think at the beginning when I came home, my husband was still in America. So, and I didn't know when he was coming home or if he was even able to come home because the lockdown was happening. So the first week I was on a massive roller coaster, and I don't think I really realised the enormity of it all, like all of us. And so I was still trying to, do my food shopping and not even really thinking about it until like day 4, when it was all really serious. I was just like, right, I am staying in. I am not going anywhere whatsoever. And that's when my family started dropping food at the house, and but I was on a really emotional time and thinking about this baby's birth's going to be different. And then I was hearing all the stories, you've got to do it on your own. And I had a little cry. And then I sort of was like, right, I can't go down this road, because all that bad energy is going into my body, into my baby. And then, thank God, my husband came home about a week, 10 days later. And once he was home, I just sort of went, okay, now let's find our rhythm. So we started kind of, conversing about the implications of it all. And I started doing a bit of yoga, with a pregnancy yoga with a dear friend of mine. And she was really putting my body and my mind in the right place to go, let's think of the positive. We're not out there as much. We're not prone to the everyday toxins that we have, that we're going through. And just think of that time you're going to get to bond with your baby and your other the sibling, to have that time together, because sometimes it can be manic when you first come home and everyone's in your house. And so I think what I've done is I've really had to just anchor my thoughts in seeing the positive, and not just being positive, actually reframing it and rewiring my brain to go, it's going to be okay. There's no point in worrying about what we don't know. By the time we have our babies, we don't know where the situation's going to be. Yeah. So I'm not going to spend the next 6 weeks worrying about it. So I might as well enjoy the time at home. I've had a lot of time to do things at home. I've had a lot more time to even run my business, which I'm absolutely loving, and a lot more time with Andreas. And I think one of the big things that frightened me at first was he goes to playgroup 3 times a week, and suddenly that was up to me to fill in those gaps, not just the entertainment, but the learning as well. And I suddenly thought, oh, hold on, I don't do it with him, but that's what they do. And I suddenly panicked. And I think that's the bit that I really had to just go, okay, it's okay. 20 minutes a day, twice a day. That's all we need to do. Sit down, focus work, drawing. We've got lots of CBeebies magazines, and they have loads of little sticker books and workbooks and things like that. So I've been doing stuff with him every day like that. And actually it's really good for me. I mean, we do arts and crafts, and then 10 minutes into it, he's gone, and I'm ended up finishing it. I actually really enjoy it.
That was me today with making Easter chicks. Not like that, like this. Oh, I'm bored now, mummy. Okay, I'll finish it.
No, don't worry, I'll do it. I've got it under control. So, I would say the first week to 10 days was a real, I didn't know, excuse my French, my ass from my elbow. But then it's sort of, I just went, right, I've got to take control of this. And I'm part of a wonderful community called the Daily Positive, and I know you're part of the Good Vibes Club, and those Facebook communities that really just want to go, come on, we've got you. And a lot of my friends have been doing singing online and yoga and performing and teaching, and there's just so many good things out there, but you've got to want to look for it.
Yeah.
And I
think that's the important thing, isn't it? Is knowing you're in charge. Like what you've said so far, you've made these decisions, because there is a lot that's out of our control. And I think, the reason that I wanted to speak to you about this is because I felt like we were on the same page, because there was a day where you said, you felt very teary, you had a really rubbish day. And I think I'd just had one as well, where I'd stopped for a moment. I remember waking up in the morning and I had the same fear. My husband is a key worker. Right. He is in a position where he could contract this illness very easily and bring it home, or he has to then stay away. And what if he contracts it too close to the point where we actually have the baby? And again, I was thinking, I'm going to have to go in by myself, and he's like my rock in these situations. I know there are some guys that aren't necessarily good in those situations, but because of what he does, he's actually very good to be around. We've actually had to make, I don't know about you, but make other plans to get our son looked after, and that's also a thing that we had to kind of plan for before, but it's been made a bit harder. So there's all these external things. And when I stopped for a moment and started to just think of one thing, then another, and I was just thinking of the problems. All I was doing was thinking of the problem. There's the problem, there's a problem, there's a problem. And I cried, and I was just like, and then I felt I almost became the victim, because I was like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And then I reminded myself, because, as you know as well, very, very into the law of attraction, massively realised that everything happens for a reason. And as awful as this situation is for everyone, I like to think everyone's going to learn from it.
Definitely.
And everything you're saying as well, all the things that have happened to you, but you've decided how to react to it and how to respond. And I think the reaction and the responding is what will get us through. So I would just urge anybody out there, if you have got the time, now, Netflix, watch The Secret or read it. Really look into things that are going to make you feel good. So you've been doing yoga. I've actually thrown myself, ridiculously enough, even though I'm getting bigger and bigger, got into kind of more teaching. I've been trying to give my services to these online communities. I've been doing like a little basic stretch class, or still trying to run dance classes and a dance club that I was doing beforehand in person. But the parents have been saying how nice it is. It breaks up the day for their children, and there's still a need for it out there. So I've kind of thrown myself into that because I feel like I'm managing to help people. That's what I thrive on, is feeling like I can help somebody else, even if it's just one person or one child. If I can give back and help other people from breaking up that thought process, that's where, and I think that is probably one of the key things in this situation. And like you said, you had that moment, quite rightly so. I don't think anyone would turn around to either one of us, especially pregnant women, and say, "Oh, get over it."
Absolutely.
I think, if anyone's feeling, if anyone's feeling rubbish, it's normal. It's not. We're not trying to say like get over it, but we do want to stress is that you do have control. Because I think sometimes one of the fearful things is when you feel life is like out of control. And for me, that was when I started to my thoughts started to spiral, was sort of, I don't have any control over this. I don't have any control over what happens next and what happens next. But I can control how I'm dealing with that and how I'm responding to it. So I don't want to keep you for too much longer, because I know you're very busy still with calls and stuff online to people. But changing kind of the tone of this as well. What have you got any funny pregnancy stories? So like, so far, the usual things like expanding or the other stuff that we relate to.
Well, I don't think I really realised how much weight I was putting on. And because as well in America, we walked everywhere because we had no transport. My thighs and my bum have just been the most solid thing of my body I've ever known in my life. I'm like, because my background's dancing, right? So I've always had a good figure in that sense. But my legs, as I've gotten older, they've lost the muscle and the elasticity of it. But oh my God, I'm like a sumo wrestler. I'm like pure muscle. And the other night I went to put my pyjama bottoms on. It was just these little shorts, and usually they just hang off me. I put them on and they clung to my thighs. Oh my God. I looked at them and I was like, wow, there is no daylight going in between those thighs.
I was going to say, that's not something to make yourself feel better, is it really? We start doing that.
I'm as a rock. They're hilarious.
Yeah. I would do the same thing, because where obviously we suddenly got into like summer weather as well.
Yes.
I hadn't managed to get to the shop beforehand to prepare for like the warmer weather, so I've managed to get hold of old like maxi dresses, but they're like hanging out here because they're not designed for like maternity. Absolutely. My boobs, oh my God, I don't have boobs. I have a dancer background. I have what I call ballet boobs. Yeah, I know a bit of ballet boobs, but like I've got these like maxi dresses on, like, just to get a bit of airflow in a dress, but the boobs are like suffocating.
I can't believe it. My husband's praying to God that they stay.
I know.
They can stay. The rest have got to go.
Yeah. Trouble is, with breastfeeding as well. I don't know whether you breastfed at all.
I managed a week with Andros. It didn't go very well. I'm going to give it another go. Definitely.
Yeah, well, I did. I was kind of like, no, I'm not doing it. I was like, well, I'm only going to do it if it's easy. And for us, it worked out that it was easy.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was quite good for like losing weight. I literally could feel the sucking out the muscle.
Really?
It felt like when sometimes like, it was like a TENS machine, like, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll give that a go again, because that's suck everything out. Yeah, why not? One of my funny pregnancy stories recently, though, I literally let the hair grow on my leg for as long, like, it's never been that long. It was ridiculous. but the yoga poses I was getting into, like literally, like trying to reach down to get the leg. Oh my word. I did it. I was really proud of myself. I took a photo of them. I was so proud. Put it on Instagram and everything. Just like,
I
these
was
bad
like,
boys out. Yeah. Can't see anything else though. You know what I mean?
I don't even look down.
No idea what's going on down. But I don't have to. Someone else has to.
We've got to sort that out, because that's going to be the name of the
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just
showpiece
can't see it.
Labour.
Well, it's like that thing, if a tree falls in the middle of the rainforest, it hasn't really happened. As long as, like, if I haven't seen it, does it really matter if I can't see it? What's going on? It's just I'm envisaging, visualizing this beautiful, smooth. It looks beautiful in my head. I can't see it. It's fine. Positive thinking.
I love it.
So what would be, just to finish up, what would be your message out there, apart from shave your legs, shave your bits, go get a wax if you can, or have your home wax. What would your I'm so laughing. What would be your best advice, for any pregnant women out there right now, feeling a bit anxious, a bit worried? What would you suggest?
I would say find a community of other women who are going through the same thing, and grab on to them, and just talk through your fears and anxieties with them, but don't manifest in the negativity. If there's somebody online that you can see that is going through the same thing as you, but they're putting a positive spin on it, connect with them and just ask for help. And just always think, as you said, Laura, never think of the problem, find the solution. What's the solution? What's the alternative? And how can I make my mind and my body calm? So, if you've never meditated before, start meditating for 5 minutes a day. That's all you need. There's so many amazing apps out there. There's Calm, there's Headspace, there's pregnancy ones as well that are great. And just ask. Find the person that you affiliate yourself with, that you can feel like, yes, I'm getting good energy from them. Turn the news off.
Yes.
If you can, be informed by all means. I haven't watched it for 2 days and I feel like I'm in such a different headspace. I know what's going on out there. I don't need to know all the numbers, and I don't need to hear the hearsay of what's happening in the hospitals with the pregnant. I asked my midwife. She told me these are the guidelines, but also by the time it gets to you, it might be completely different. So, don't listen to what's going on, the negativity. Don't read the stuff that's going to fill your mind with anxiety. Draw yourself in to the positive light. There's so many wonderful communities out there, but be mindful of the community you're going to go into, because you don't want to be surrounded. When Andreas was little, he had silent reflux, and somebody put me into this group for a reflux, and all it was bombarding how awful it was, and I just went, oh no, I don't need to see that. So don't surround yourself with people who are just seeing the fear and the negative. Surround yourself with people who are trying to flip it on its head. Be the positive light, and gravitate towards that if you can, and if anyone out there's watching this and needs some recommendations of communities, I've got several that I'm a part of, and especially for babies, women who are having babies as well, and they're really wonderful communities, and there's a support network there. So don't think that you have to do this by yourself. Basically, yes, you've got your family around you, but other women going through the same thing can be a massive light for you. But go towards the light. Don't go towards the fear and the anxiety. And any time that you feel like you are, find some little tools and techniques that work for you, that can just ground you, and and have some time with your bump, with your baby, and just be grateful that this is this is going to teach us to mother in a completely different way. I
Yeah,
really believe
amazing. You're so amazing. Absolutely agree with everything you said. Like attracts like. So if you want positivity, gravitate towards it. So yeah, thank you so much, Sophia, for your time. Thank you so much for the chat. You're always a little ray of sunshine. Definitely follow Sophia on Instagram. She has a beautiful Instagram. And you get to see everything that she's up to and grab onto that positivity. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope anyone's watching this finds it helpful. You don't have to be pregnant, I don't think, to get something from this and a giggle from it. But, you know, if you know someone that is, you know, feel free to pass it on. So thank you, everyone, so much.
Thank you, darling. Thank you so much for asking me as well. It's been wonderful to chat. Mwah.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.